Blackfoot Communications is committed to supporting Bozeman businesses. From intelligent network solutions like SD-WAN to fast and reliable fiber-based services, Blackfoot delivers innovative ways for your business to succeed. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
Coach, why don't you just go ahead and kind of give us an update on what the team has been doing since the last game at Sacramento to right now?
Oh, pretty much nothing. We've been trying to do our due diligence of just trying to limit exposure. I mean, we flew over here Friday night after SAC kind of made the decisions on whether or not flying back to Bozeman and other transportation, getting here, trying to just get an opportunity to compete this week. So just, I'm trying to think what we did on Saturday. We just kind of moved around a little bit. There's a place outside on the deck that we went out on and just trying to do socially spaced meals, watching a lot of basketball games. And we're just excited to get to practice today to actually move around. There weren't any practice facilities yesterday. So that's going to speed things up a little bit. It's been slow paced recovery days and now we're going to get going. So few team meals and meetings, but other than that, just trying to lay low, get our legs back.
What does the rest of the day look like? Do you have a team practice? And then are you able to go watch that Montana-Sacramento State game?
Yeah, so the policies this year are your coaching staff can go watch. I believe we're going to be watching in one of the suites, and then the players are going to have to watch from the hotel rooms. We're fortunate to be at the Grove Hotel this year, which actually has a channel devoted to the games that are going to be in the Grove, so they'll just watch them on the TVs. But coaching staff will certainly go over and watch with the late tip-offs. That's another thing we're trying to adjust to, is just trying to get them up a little bit later. If everything goes well for Tuesday, then we'd be playing at 8 and 9 o'clock.
All right, let's open it up to questions. Coulter, you got one?
Sure, yeah, I got two for you, Trish. Hi.
Hey, how are you? Nice hand emoji.
Yeah, I'm sitting downstairs in the Grove. I'm in my little corner over here.
Awesome.
So first of all, what's it like being back here? Because we were talking about this last night. We were sitting at our hotel room, like this was kind of when the whole state of affairs that the world has gone through in the last year started. It's like being at ground zero. And I know it was so heartbreaking for your team to get the championship canceled here. So just being back here, what sort of emotions did that bring up?
Unsettled, unfinished, a little bit of just obviously you're still trying to release it, but you're also trying to separate it. This is a new season, new team, but obviously we want to honor that group as well. And that was a really tough situation for everybody last year. So it definitely brings back the feelings of those things, but at the same time you're trying to separate because it's a brand new season starting with protocols in this regard.
Everybody wants to get a bye. Is there any challenges to handling though a bye when there's games going on and maybe just locking in and not letting it be a distraction? I mean, I guess how do you hope your team approaches the time off mentally to prepare for your next game?
Yeah, I think you've got to take advantage of the fact that you got the bye. I'm like that alone. Otherwise you're thinking of winning each day and that being 4 games, and you want to give yourselves the best opportunity possible. So the bye, I think, is the best opportunity possible. Number one, but number two, my biggest thing I'm thinking about is how do I get them where they're not just sitting in their rooms all day, even though that's what we're supposed to be doing, is sitting in our rooms all day and just keeping them engaged and moving around. So can we go out on this trellis, or can we go, walk the stairs a little bit, just to limit exposure, but just keeping them mentally in a great gear. And that's where we're excited about today, getting an opportunity to get out and practice and get them moving and see their teammates. It's been a little odd. So you've been doing this well. I haven't seen you. So obviously we're both following protocols very well.
Yeah, good. Well, last question for me then. Your potential opponent is either going to be your rival or the team you just played. So I obviously there's no preference on which one you play, but what's it like, preparing for either a really familiar rival or a team you just played, less than a week ago?
Well, last year we opened up with Northern Colorado and we just finished playing them as well at their place. So that would be familiar if it was Sac State, and Montana's always familiar because it's a rivalry team. So I think the biggest thing is for us right now, we've tried to take the last 2 days to focus on ourselves on, this is where we're at in the season, and everybody at this point is going to be so familiar with each other. There's a couple teams we haven't played, but for the most part, it's a matter of being your best self right now and limiting mistakes on board and just being every possession at an elite level. So that's really what we want to focus on regardless of opponent.
Thanks, Trish. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
John, you got anything?
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Coach, what have you been most impressed about your team this year from the beginning of off-season camp to where they are right now, regardless of what happens in the postseason?
Well, I'd like to start with these two on the screen. I'm like that these two were coming off of a team that was very experienced and played critical pieces in that team and that program. And they really took this team on their backs from day one of what it looks like to be a champion on a daily basis, how you practice, how you prepare, how you show up, how you do it consistently. And the other piece that they led with tremendous, and I told them this in our team meeting the other day, one of the things I'm most proud of is we've just been very limited of some of the culture things that we do in the off season, where it's team meals and barbecues and relationship building. And these two kind of did that on our own because we weren't really able to do a lot of things with the staff. And this team has just evolved. Not only is it a very close team chemistry wise, especially given the dynamic of COVID, but they've just continued to grow every single week with a very young team and squad with a preseason that was very limited. So the turning point for us was probably the week of hosting Northern Arizona, where our defense started to get going and kids started to see what some identity and strengths of this group could be. But these two have been leaders from day one.
And then Darian, could you talk about what it was like to win, Big Sky Conference defensive MVP?
It's really exciting, actually. Just knowing how much I love defense and how we're a defensive team, it really just motivates me to keep grinding and just to keep working really hard on the end of the floor.
And then Tori, talk about how this team has gelled so far this year. Obviously, you're the leader on the team, but you guys are one of the youngest teams, in the country, and you guys got, some new coaches, a lot of freshmen. What's been the key to, gelling?
Honestly, I think it's all of our bonding off the court that we've done. This is the closest team I've ever been a part of. Being a lot older than a lot of the freshmen, we've been so close on and off the court, and that's helped us a lot on the court. Over winter break, we didn't have much to do, so we spent a lot of time just hanging out, playing games, and we still are doing that. Even last night, we found ways to play games and have fun together, even when we can't be next to each other. So I think just the way that we are close to each other has helped on the court as well.
And then what will making a run and making us an NCAA tournament berth mean to you to cap off your career?
It would be very special. I think just the way things ended last year was very hard way to end the season, and just for the seniors that was really sad. But for this year, I just feel like it would just be an amazing way to cap off my career and everything. And I think we can do it. And I don't know, I think we prepared and we put so much work into this season that we really deserve it. And we've worked so hard, and I'm really excited to see how this week goes.
Thank you.
Tori, if you don't mind, I'll jump in now, and I have a couple questions for you also. First off, I'm Parker Cotton, as Tom said at the top. I'm still very new here, so I've only been able to watch you two play virtually the two games at Sacramento State. So I'm still getting very accustomed to covering this team. But in the brief research that I've done, I've seen that you were the reserve of the year last year, and of course this year you're second team all conference. Is there any sort of jump that you saw in yourself in terms of your production or kind of what you were able to do? But then also as a senior, obviously your role expands quite a bit, doesn't it? What what did you see your role as when you came in, and how does it feel to be recognized in this way?
Yeah, definitely going from last year to coming off the bench to having a more of a leadership role has been a big change for me. But I think having, I don't know, just like the young girls coming in, they've bought into the program so well, and just the way we have meshed together, it's been so easy being a leader. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to be honored in the conference, but I'm just more looking forward to what we can do on the court this week.
Sure. And your coach touched on it very briefly in terms of the strangeness of this year overall, where get-togethers are limited, not only being being teammates, but also just being a 20-something college student. When you look back on all of your previous college experience, what is your 10,000-foot view of this year now? How strange does it kind of look in retrospect, and how did maybe your team kind of overcome that to get to the point where it is?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a year to remember, but I think as a team, we've really made it like something special. We've had on the court and off the court, no matter what, and just the way like the benches and how hype we all get for each other, like it's still such a fun atmosphere to play in. And even without the fans, and this will more fans, which will be fun, but it'll definitely be a strange year to remember, but I think we've made the most of it in the end.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that few people are as aware of Darian's defensive prowess as her teammates. Can you speak to her level of deserving for that particular award this year?
Yeah, Darien deserves every recognition she gets. She's literally the most fun teammate to play with on offense and defense, but especially her defense. She really brings the energy to her team defensive end, and that's been our main focus this year is defense. And Coach Vin said that was our turning point when we got our defense down.
Blackfoot Communications is committed to supporting Bozeman businesses. From intelligent network solutions like SD-WAN to fast and reliable fiber-based services, Blackfoot delivers innovative ways for your business to succeed. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
Taking those definitely going to be the key this week. You can't hear anything.
No, I heard bits and pieces.
Yeah, Coach Bin just got kicked off the internet too, so she's trying to get back on.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Darian, you look like you're not getting all scrambled up. Any questions for Darian right now?
Yeah, I do. Darian, also, it's very nice to meet you as well. And congratulations on your awards. Certainly. I'll start with a similar question as to where I started with Tori in terms of what sort of jump or progress did you see in yourself from being an honorable mention and freshman of the year last year to being first team and defensive player of the year this year? How would you assess your progress from one year to the next?
I would say just like what Tori said too, just filling in that leadership role. Last year we had a completely different team with experience and all the seniors that we had. So I kind of was just, following their lead. But this year was definitely a huge jump in that kind of role. And just being a completely different player, on and off the floor with everything that we do as a team. And yeah.
Excellent. And what do you think it says about the competitiveness or the future of your league that you and two other sophomores were kind of the headliners of the all-conference first team? Does that speak to how competitive this league is and will be in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's ever going to be an easy win for any team. It's going to be a dogfight every game, and so just being practice, predictable, and just executing all the things that we do is really going to help us.
I can end with this. I want to circle back to the Defensive Player of the Year award. Certainly being a good individual defensive player stems in part from good scouting and having good team defense around you, but it also means having good defensive principles yourself and good reflexes, good anticipation. How have you honed all of those elements to this point in your career? How have you built yourself into a good defensive player?
I think it basically just comes off of my competitiveness. We're all so competitive. We want the ball. We want to win. We want to score. Just going off of that, I I don't really have an answer. Honestly, my feet kind of just go.
Sometimes it's as easy as that, and that's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
And it's and I lied. I have one other thing. When you see the recognition that Tori gets, also, certainly for her being your team's only senior, you obviously know how important she is. But for the coaches, around the league to see her importance as well, as her teammate, how does that make you feel to see her recognized in that way?
It's honestly amazing. Just to see from how much she's grown from last year too. I think that she's developed and become an amazing teammate, an amazing player. Not only can she shoot the 3 ball, but if it's not falling, she's gonna attack and find other ways to be effective offensively and defensively. And she's a very versatile player and teammate. And it's just really fun to be able to play with her.
Okay, excellent. I don't have any more questions for players, but if coach is back in the meeting.
She is back, so have at it.
Tricia, good to see you, and hopefully I'll meet you in person at some point. But I want to circle back also on the recognitions for your team this year. I'll start with Tori, and you were kicked off, I think, when I was speaking with her about what she saw her role as coming into this year, and how she kind of grew into it. Can you expand on what you asked of your team's only senior, and how she really followed through on what you asked of her this year?
I think just for Tori to continue shining as an example of what it takes to be excellent. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of work ethic. It takes a lot of consistency, time management. The entire preseason, I wouldn't say entire, but a lot of our fall, we were limited of even having Tori at practices with her clinicals. And so that jump off when we hit Christmas break and she was back at practices with us, like Tori and I did a lot of workouts individually to work around her academic schedule, but just even her teammates seeing just how committed she is to making those things work, I think is just a tremendous example. And in that leadership, you just need for kids to see that on the court. I mean, coaches can say so much, but for kids to be able to see it on a consistent basis from somebody doing an elite level, that's a big deal.
And as far as Darian is concerned, I'll ask you the same question I asked her in terms of evaluating her progress. How does one go from, honorable mention and, freshman of the year to first team and defensive player of the year? And as a follow-up to that, she's still obviously very young. Where do you see her ceiling?
It's probably my internet again, so hopefully you can get most of it. Darien was a first team for us last year. I think she was just recognized by the conference this year for what she does for our program. We had so many pieces last year. And what Darien does, she does every single day in practice. But once again, just these 2 examples, they have consistent practices over and over again, how hard Darien goes, how I don't know, something in my room. But to follow up, where did I lose you? Probably the beginning.
I tried to keep track. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Darian's evolving as a player. Last year, she had a lot of experience around her. This year, she's had to step up as a scorer. She's had to do everything right from the beginning. But once again, I'll just go to the way she practices every day. That has never changed. She continues to get better because she's got tremendous work ethic and she goes hard. Every practice is like she's in a game. So I'll start with that. This 2 tandem, I joked after Tori's 206 threes came out. I wonder how many of those were assisted by Darian. They just have really tremendous chemistry. And these 2 have been going since day one. I mean, they've just been consistent practice kids. So when Darian talks about practice, predictable, executed, this is what these 2 do on a daily basis. And I think your habits create champions, and they have tremendous habits in place. and they're winners. But in the meantime, they continue to bring everybody else around them and along with them. And I think that's where Darian's grown as a tremendous leader on bringing those other kids with these two, and same with Tori, that we've started to get a really, really deep team.